Light, and I'm here to talk with Michelle Coe today. She's a branding expert and a designer of websites. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you.
We're going to talk to Michelle. We were just talking about who's Michelle. She's somebody who knows stuff. And one thing I was learning from Michelle is different productivity tools that businesses use, particularly now that we're working from home. And so Business Your Way is all about creating your business around your life so that you can make more sales, you can be more productive, and you can have the life that you want. More time, more money, more freedom. And so Michelle's going to talk to us today about what is a productivity tool.
So productivity tools are really what they sound like. Productivity tools help you to be more productive. And I'm sure that all of us have had those challenges now that so many people are working from home, is how do I remain productive where the home and work balance has been so blurred.
Homework, school, overlap.
School, yes. Kids running around, all that good stuff. Because so many of us, a lot of people don't have a designated office in their home. So maybe they're working at the kitchen table and they're looking at the dishes that need to be done and the laundry that needs to be changed around, and Tommy needs help with his math homework and all of that good stuff. So how do you balance all of that? There's always going to be those kinds of things that pull you off. I am fortunate to have worked from an office in my home for the last 9 years. So I've picked up a few tips along the way.
Yeah, one of the things that because you and I are involved in a lot of stuff together. And so through you, I became familiar with Trello, for example.
Yes.
And at the beginning, I was puzzled and I didn't really know how it worked. And yet, as you and I worked together, it was like, oh my gosh, this is just so much more organized. Tell us a little bit about what Trello is and what it does. It's Trello.com, I think, right?
Yes. So Trello is a project management tool.
Okay.
And I happen to use it to manage all of the projects that I do with each of my clients. And it is very flexible. It allows you to set up separate boards and then create lists within those boards, and then there's cards on those lists. So think about it like Post-it notes on
Yeah. That's exactly what it's like.
They're super flexible, so you can set it up any way you want. And so some people set their Trello boards up chronologically, like to do, doing, done. Other types of projects, you may want to organize your project in a different way. And you can use it not only for business, but you can also use it for home. It's a great collaborative tool, and you have access to it in the cloud as well. So if you can keep your shopping list on it, for instance,
right.
and invite your significant other to that board, and then when they're out at the store, they can check their shopping list and check the card and
see what you added while they were gone.
Make sure you pick up the milk on the way home.
Yeah. So and you use it with your branding clients, with your website development clients, with your project management clients. For example, Michelle is also our program manager with a nonprofit that I have called BeTheChangeFoundation.us. And we hired her to take this whole program online because COVID, we had to cancel some classes. We weren't quite prepared. And so she put that on Trello so that she could communicate with the entire board of directors. So we don't have to wait for a board meeting in order to see that Michelle created a survey to send out to our past students and stuff like that. We don't have to wait until we see each other in person to get people's opinions on, I don't know, what this new logo you want to design or a new color scheme or something like that. And it's been really helpful and good time management once people get used to using it.
Yes.
It can be a little disconcerting, I guess, for any new project management tool, whether it's OneNote or Google Drive or anything like that. But you seem to prefer Trello. That's what you use.
I've tried quite a few of them, and that one I've settled on as my favorite. There are many different tools out there. Asana, Basecamp.
Asana, A-S-A-N-A. Okay, Basecamp.
Basecamp is another one.
Another one.
Todoist is another one.
Todoist.
Todoist.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
So there's many different kinds, and it's
Well,
really
another one
all about your style.
Well, the Slack is one that I also got introduced to recently.
Yes. That's
Totally different than Trello.
Yes, it's not really a project management tool. It is
Communication tool?
communication tool, a real-time communication tool. Trello is great for an ongoing conversation that you're having with someone where you are sharing files, you are commenting on work, you're sharing images, things like that over time. Slack is great for, I need to get Marianne's opinion on this right now so that I can move forward. It's kind of like a group chat or group texting.
So, and I think Slack also, Trello, you can tag me directly so that I get an email, so I don't have to be tuned into Trello necessarily, or don't have to have it pulled up on my computer. I get an email that says, okay, I did this, what do you think of that? Slack also provides an email.
It will do email notifications
If you, okay, so if you specify somebody. So that makes them easier to get that notification and get that communication right away. I guess I wanted to know, when you first started using Trello, for example, how is their customer service? Like if you didn't get it and you needed some help, which I do all the time, if I use a new app and I don't know how to use it, I really depend strongly on their customer service people to see if they're going to help. Sure. Is Trello helpful that way, or?
Trello is great in that it is so widely used that there's a ton of documentation out there to help you.
Okay.
They don't necessarily, well, I can't say whether they do or they don't because I've never used it, honestly, whether or not they have like a chat customer service or whatever. But there are all of the YouTube videos in the world that you could ever imagine on how to use Trello. Plus, there are several other sites and
well, that's
tutorials
good to know.
There's a lot of documentation out there that's very widely used.
So you prefer Trello. Second choice, if they had to try something, what would you suggest? You named a bunch that I hadn't even heard of.
Right, probably Asana. Both Trello and Asana but have a free plan. So it allows you to try it before you buy it, if you're going to buy it.
Because you can use it up to X amount.
Free version of Trello, and I use it for all of my clients.
So it depends on how much information you're going to put on that as to whether you need to bump up to the pay grade.
It depends on a number of factors, but yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So again, if somebody's starting out, they're new, they don't have a big budget, these tools are something that they can go play with, look up if they need information, and there's not a whole lot you can mess up, right? You just practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about trying tools and figuring out what works best for your workflow. But so important when you're a small business owner to get some processes and procedures in place. Even, and this is something I found with being a solopreneur for so long, when it came time for me to start hiring people to help, it was really important to have these kinds of collaboration tools in place so that I could bring other people into the role, into their role to help me. And I didn't have everything packed in my head.
Right.
It was all in Trello. So I could bring somebody on board and here's my processes, here's my workflow, here's how we go about doing this.
Okay, so there's another tool that you use that, and I just want to touch on this briefly because it impressed me. I guess you were talking about this at a meeting and you said, well, I know my volunteer hours with this particular organization are X amount per month. And I thought, how does she know that? So what is that?
Time management, which is so important when you're working from home or an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I use an app called Timing. There are several others out there.
Timing?
There's one called Toggle. There are other ones out there. And they actually track what you're doing when you're in front of your computer. They track all the apps that you're in. They track what websites you're browsing and whatever, and add up those things and help you can categorize them
okay.
as far as this is how much time I spent with this client, this is how much time I spent in volunteer work, this is how much time I spent doing non-billable hour things. And over the span of a week, you get to see exactly how you're spending your time.
So this is great for, actually for your productivity too, because if you see yourself spending non-billable hour time on a project that you've already maxed out the time that you have already billed that person, that you know you need to back down or back up a little bit or say, yeah, either somebody else can do it or I'm going to need to charge you a little bit more if we continue along this line, something like that.
It helps with scope creep. It helps in a number of ways.
Yeah,
where I found it to be very revealing.
I bet.
And helpful for me was things like volunteer time.
Yeah.
How much time am I spending on volunteer work versus work I'm actually getting paid for?
Right. Radical.
Work I'm getting paid for. And the other piece of it was how much time am I spending in front of my computer working versus how much time am I spending on my life?
Right.
It's also so huge as a business owner because this is your baby, it's your business,
That's
and
right.
it's important to you, so you spend a lot of time on it. But 55 or 60 hours a week is not healthy for anybody to be spending on their job.
Right.
So you need to create that work-life balance, and part of doing that is being accountable to yourself.
Right.
And in order to be accountable to yourself, you have to know how you're spending your time.
You have to be able to measure it.
And you have to, what doesn't get measured.
Yeah. That's right. So that's great because that's what Business Your Way is all about as well. It's about creating the life you want. So if you want a life of 60 hours worth of unbillable hours or volunteer work, that's great. But if you don't, it gives you the measurable parameters so that you can actually bill for it or change a way of doing something or something like that. So those things are huge. So you've told us about productivity tools. You've told us about time management tools. You've told us about communication tools, such as Slack and so forth. And so those things can really help us make our lives more productive in many, many ways. Yes. So do you have any final words before we close up on that? Because we could spend a week talking about that. All
Absolutely.
of them.
There's so many tools out there. I guess my greatest
wisdom at the
moment is really just to take a look at what's out there, because there are so many tools out there. There's apps for your phone, there's things for your desktop, there's new things happening every day, especially with all the changes in the world and things becoming so digital. There are a lot of opportunities and ways to optimize your life and your time to create the freedom that you want.
Thank you. This is great. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
And we're all about that, creating the life that you want, making yourself more efficient so that you can make more sales, so that you have more time to go do the things that you love and spend time with those people you love. And so that's really important. So thank you for joining us today, and thank you for discussing with us how to do business your way. I'm Mary Ann Clyde.